Welcome to the Mastermind Grand Final. For the past months, 96 highly competitive people have been battling it through to get here, a place in this black chair tonight. Only 6 of them have made it. One of them will walk away with the title Mastermind Champion. The first finalist in the spotlight tonight is David Stedman from Hitchin, a printer and publisher, and his specialist subject is the life and work of the painter Thomas Girtin. Geoff Thomas is from Northwich, a retired lecturer, and his subject is Margaret Mitchell, who wrote Gone with the Wind. Our third finalist, Katherine Drury from Blackpool, a local government officer, and her subject, King Edward VII. Fourth is Ashoke Venkatesh from Derby, a deputy head teacher whose subject is Albert Camus. Fifth, Ray Eaton from London, a postman, and his subject, the television series Porridge and Going Straight. And our sixth finalist tonight is Mark Eaves from Oxted, an estate manager, and his subject is the Ottoman Empire. So, a grand occasion tonight, but apart from the fact that there are 6 contenders, the rules are the same. 2 minutes on their specialist subjects and 2 minutes on the thing contenders tend to fear the most, the general knowledge round. There's no money to be won. All that is on offer is a glass bowl, but that title, Mastermind. So, let's get on with it, and let me ask our first finalist to join us, please. And your name is?
David Stedman.
And your occupation?
Printer and publisher.
Your subjects in the past 2 rounds have been Caravaggio and Edward I. Your subject tonight?
The life and works of Thomas Girtin. I've always been interested in painting, in art, but it wasn't till my brother Victor started painting in a serious way that I began to understand the techniques used.
Against the rail here.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah.
I've decided to do it a bit blacker.
And it gave me a new respect and understanding of the great artists. Vic and I often go down to the art galleries, and we've often visited the Courtauld Institute to see some of Girtin's work in the flesh, you might say. This one is highly finished with underpainting.
That one's more natural.
Much more natural. He's even left the paper unpainted in places to show reflections and highlights. The major collection of Thomas Girtin's works is the British Museum. I think seeing the real thing definitely helps my research. Very dramatic skyline. Almost a premonition, as if he knew that he didn't have long to live. To see how his talent developed in those few short years is breathtaking, really. So how far he would have gone after that is anyone's guess. I'll be up against 5 equally tough contestants. I think I've got as good a chance as anybody. May the best man or woman win.
So, David Stedman, 2 minutes on Thomas Girtin. Thomas Girtin's great panorama of London is usually known by what name?
The Ido Metropolis.
Correct. What was the name of the street in Southwark where Girtin was born in 1775?
Great Bandy Leg Walk.
Yes, in an acknowledgement of Girtin's greatness, which artist is believed to have said, had Tom Girtin lived, I should have starved?
Turner.
Yes, which street as well as a gate of the same name did Girtin paint while he was staying in Paris towards the end of his life?
The Rue Saint-Denis.
Correct. What was the name of the liveryman of the Goldsmiths Company whose daughter Mary Ann married Girtin in October 1800?
Phineas Borrett.
Yes. What distinctive structure is shown in the left foreground on the banks of the river in his work The White House at Chelsea, which is in the Tate collection?
The Windmill.
Yes. By what title was the painting Storeth's Heights, Wharfdale, Yorkshire known before its current title was suggested in Agnew's catalogue of 1953?
Plinlimmon.
Yes. What was the full married name of Sir Abraham Hume's daughter, who's said to have been Girtin's favourite pupil when he was teaching?
Lady Long, later Lady Farnborough.
Amelia Long, yes, Lady Farnborough. Girtin's palette was limited to how many colours according to the account of his work in the Somerset House Gazette?
5.
15. While Girtin and Turner were employed by Dr. Thomas Munro from about 1794, they copied the works of which artist who was suffering from mental illness and was in Munro's care?
J.R. Cousins.
Yes, an engraving of a drawing of Windsor by Girtin, which depicts the castle viewed along the river, was published in which magazine in 1792?
Copper Plate magazine.
Yes, according to the letter written to his brother John in April 1802, from which vantage point did Girtin draw his sketches of Paris?
The Pont Neuf.
No, a hackney carriage. What was the subject of the first watercolour by Girtin to be exhibited at the Royal Academy in 1794?
Ely Cathedral.
Correct. What title is now given to the picture which was known as the Rocking Stone for over 100 years?
Bamborough Castle.
Correct. What was the title of Girtin's only named oil painting, which was exhibited at the Royal Academy in 1801 but is now lost?
Bolton Bridge.
Yes, in 1795, Girtin is thought to have made a visit to the Cinque Ports with which of his patrons, whose declining health probably stopped his touring?
James Moore.
Yes, in November 1802, Girtin died at the age of 27 and was buried in the yard of which church, I've started so I shall finish, in Covent Garden?
St Paul's.
St Paul's is correct. David Stedman, you have a total of no passes and 15 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Geoff Thomas.
Your occupation?
Retired lecturer.
Your two previous subjects have been Edith Piaf and William Joyce. Your subject tonight is?
Margaret Mitchell and Gone with the Wind. I want to win Mastermind very badly. This is my fourth appearance. Really, really like to win it because it's such a prestigious title. I suppose I'm competitive when it comes to quizzes. I do like to win and I feel absolutely gutted when I don't. So I've come all the way to Atlanta is an extreme form of revision, but I think seeing where Margaret Mitchell lived and worked, I think it's going to be a terrific experience and tremendous help. The Margaret Mitchell house where she wrote the book was the house that she lived in with her second husband, John.
This was the dump. This was an affectionate term. She called it...
And walking around it's a great experience to imagine that this room that I visited is the actual room where she wrote this great novel.
This is apartment...
I think having made this trip to Atlanta, I certainly feel as though I got a sense of the spirit and character of Margaret Mitchell, much more than had I just read about her in books. This is going to be my last effort at this. If I don't swing it this time, that's it, never again. Finito.
Margaret Mitchell and Gone with the Wind in 2 minutes, starting now. Which film theatre in Atlanta staged the world premiere of Gone with the Wind on the 15th of December 1939?
Lowe's Grand Theatre.
Yes, Margaret Mitchell took the title of the novel from which poem by Ernest Dowson?
Sonara.
Yes, in 1914, Mitchell entered which private school for girls?
Washington Seminary.
Correct. What was the name of the MGM executive who advised Louis B. Mayer not to bid for the film rights to the novel as no Civil War picture ever made a nickel?
Irving Thalberg.
Yes, in August 1935, which Mitchell novella was rejected by Harold Latham of Macmillan for being too short for book publication?
Roper Carmigan.
Yes. What was the name of the costume designer who was responsible for the many thousands of different wardrobe items needed for the film?
Walter Plunkett.
Yes, when she began to write Gone with the Wind, what name did Mitchell give to the plantation that was to become Tara?
Fontenoy Hall.
Yes, what was the name of Eleanor Roosevelt's maid who was screen tested for the part of Mammy, which finally went to Hattie McDaniel?
There's McDuffie.
Yes, in the novel, what's the name of the Tarleton's home, which is burned down by Yankees, forcing the family to live in the overseer's house?
Mimosa.
Fairhill. Which actor died during filming and had to be replaced by Victor Jory in the role of Jonas Wilkerson?
Robert Gleckler.
Yes, what was the name of the secretary who worked at Macmillan's before becoming Margaret Mitchell's private secretary till Mitchell's death?
Lois Cole.
Margaret Bohr. In the novel, Rhett tells Melanie and Scarlett that Ashley Wilkes has been sent to which notoriously harsh Union prison camp in Illinois?
Rock Island.
Yes, what was the name of the former Harvard student to whom Mitchell was engaged but who died in the First World War?
Clifford Henry.
Correct. David O. Selznick persuaded Leslie Howard to take on the role of Ashley Wilkes by promising to let him associate, produce and star in which other film?
Intermezzo.
Yes, in the novel, Ashley has two sisters. One's called India. What name's given to the other after her habitual greeting to everybody she meets?
Honey.
Yes, what was the title of Mitchell's short novel that was finally published in 1996, having originally been given by Mitchell to her close friend Henry Angel?
The Wall.
Lost Layson. Mitchell became a feature writer on which Atlanta newspapers magazine in December 1922?
Atlanta Journal.
Yes, in the film, Melanie receives news that Ashley's been captured alive from a soldier who served alongside him in which Confederate legion?
The CSA.
Cobbs. Mitchell was fatally injured by a car while she and her husband were crossing the street on their way to watch which film?
Canterbury Tale.
Correct. No passes, Geoff Thomas. You too have 15 points. And our third contender, please. And your name is?
Katherine Drury.
Your occupation?
Local government officer.
Your two previous subjects were the Roger Brooke novels and Reginald Perrin. Your subject tonight is?
King Edward VII.
To me, Mastermind is the quiz. It's the Mount Everest of quizzes, and I just really want to win it. I'm aiming to do Blackpool proud. I love the town. I've lived here all my life. I work here. Although Edward never actually visited the town, there are many links to him and his family. Our first royal visitor in Blackpool was Princess Louise, Duchess of Argyll, who was the fourth sister of Edward. This is Blackpool's North Pier. This was the first of Blackpool's 3 piers to be built. It was opened in 1863, which was the year that Edward married his bride, Princess Alexandra of Denmark. Well, here we are at the top of Blackpool Tower. Blackpool Tower was built on land that used to be called the Prince of Wales Arcade, which was named after Edward VII, when, of course, he was Prince of Wales. We have here the Town Hall VIP Visitors Book. We have the signature of his sister, Princess Louise, when she visited in 1912, and we also have the signature of Edward's son, who became George V. When I did get into the final, I was so delighted. It meant so much to me. I think it's about time there was a female winner, so I will do my best to reverse the trend.
King Edward VII, 2 minutes. Which order of chivalry did Edward VII institute in June 1902?
The Order of Merit.
Yes, what was the name of the former master at Eaton College who was appointed as Edward's principal tutor in April 1849?
Frederick Gibbs.
Henry Birch. What was the name of the residence off Cornmarket Street, Oxford, where Edward lived while nominally an undergraduate at Christ Church?
Fruin Hall.
Yes, in June 1902, who performed an operation for Edward's appendicitis which forced the coronation to be postponed?
Frederick Treves.
Yes, with which actress did Edward begin an affair while he was attached to the Grenadier Guards at the Curragh near Dublin in the summer of 1861?
Nellie Clifton.
Yes, Edward protested against the appointment of which distinguished Hindu lawyer to the Executive Council in 1909?
Sir Young Badur.
No, Sinha of Raipur. Which naval architect designed Edward's racing yacht Britannia?
Sir John Fisher.
G.L. Watson. In which cathedral did he first meet his future wife, Princess Alexandra, in September 1861?
Speyer.
Correct. What title was given to Charles Harding, an Under-Secretary of the Foreign Office, who was Edward's aide on his European tour in spring 1903?
Ambassador to St Petersburg.
Minister Plenipotentiary. By how much did Edward put the clocks forward at Sandringham in an early attempt at daylight saving time?
30 minutes.
Yes, of which regiment was he made the Colonel-in-Chief in 1868 before taking the same position in the Household Cavalry in 1880?
The Grenadier Guards.
No, the Rifle Brigade. What was the name of the house in Yorkshire where the Prince was staying when he became embroiled in a card-cheating scandal?
Tranby Croft.
Correct. During the 1890s, which of his mistresses fell out of favour, partly because of her conversion to radical socialism?
Daisy Brooke.
Yes, Edward made a highly racist remark about which king of Hawaii, but still gave him precedence over the Crown Prince of Germany during his visit to England in 1881.
King Kalakua.
Yes, who was initially refused the Order of the Garter in 1902 after Edward claimed that as a Christian order it should not be conferred upon an infidel?
The Shah of Persia.
Yes, what was the name of the Archbishop of Canterbury who officiated at his christening?
Howley.
Yes, at which polar explorer's home did Edward attend the dinner party in May 1877 at which he first met Lily Langtry?
Alan Young.
Yes, Edward visited which country in late 1868 and was made a Freemason by its king?
Sweden.
Yes, which German-born artist painted several portraits of Queen Victoria's family, including the celebrated one of the young Edward in a sailor suit in 1846?
Winterhalter.
Winterhalter is correct. No passes. Katherine Drury, 14 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Ashoke Venkatesh.
Your occupation?
Deputy Head Teacher.
Your previous subjects have been Jorge Luis Borges and Led Zeppelin. You have chosen for the final tonight?
Albert Camus. I'm Deputy Head Teacher at a large comprehensive school in Derby. I enjoy the job tremendously. I do go into work each day not really knowing quite what shape the day is going to have. This is magnesium oxide. When pupils have asked me what my specialist subject is, and I say Albert Camus, very few of the pupils had actually heard of Camus before. As a teenager, I first read The Outsider. That was, I suppose, one of the first books that I read that had a serious philosophical content. I think he was very much a writer rather than a philosopher. His philosophy, if you like, is a philosophy of life. Oh, here we go. My son was in junior Mastermind.
I used to like that music.
Not anymore. I rashly promised him that if he got into the televised stages, then I would enter the competition, never thinking that I would actually get through to the later stages. I think it shows the dangers of promising things to your children that you're not quite sure about.
And your chosen subject.
W.G. Grace.
I've no burning desire that I have to win. I'm sure there'll be some very good people in the final. I just want to feel that I've given a good account of myself.
How's that?
Albert Camus now in 2 minutes. For which of his works did Albert Camus win the French Literary Award, Le Prix des Critiques, in 1947?
The plague.
Yes, in A Happy Death, what instrument does the blind musician play in the restaurant frequented by Meursault during his stay in Prague?
Pass.
In Camus' play Caligula, who is killed by having a vial of poison broken in his mouth?
Chiria.
Muraya. To whom did Camus dedicate the text of his acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize for Literature when it was published in 1958?
Pass.
In the short story The Guest, the gendarme Balducci orders the local schoolmaster Daru to take the Arab prisoner to which police headquarters?
Pass.
In The First Man, where is the cemetery in which Jacques Cornery visits the grave of his father who was killed at the Battle of the Marne, just as Camus' father had been?
Saint-Brieuc.
Yes. At which Paris theatre did Jean-Louis Barrault stage the first run of Camus' play State of Siege in 1948?
Marigny.
Correct. In the autobiographical novel The First Man, who gives the butcher's son Gigot a black eye in an event that appears to be modelled on an incident from Camus' own childhood?
Pass.
In The Outsider, who gives Meursault the gun with which he later shoots an Arab?
Masson.
Raymond. What name was Camus given on the false identity papers that he acquired during the Second World War?
Albert Maté.
Yes, in The Fall, what's the name of the stolen Van Eyck panel from the altarpiece which Clemence is keeping for the owner of the bar, Mexico City?
Just Judges.
Yes, the publication of which major essay by Camus in October 1951 caused a breach between him and Jean-Paul Sartre?
The Rebel.
Yes, which Grand Duke's assassination in 1905 formed the basis for Camus' play The Just?
Pass.
In A Happy Death, which 17th century Spanish philosopher is the author of the book that Zagrus is reading just before Meursault murders him?
Pass.
What is the title of the short story about an engineer called Darrast who was sent to Brazil to set up a flood prevention scheme?
The Growing Stone.
Correct. In January 45, Camus signed a petition asking General de Gaulle to commute the death sentence imposed on which French writer, who was nonetheless executed the following month for collaborating with the Germans?
Pass.
In the play Cross Purpose, where do the innkeeper and Martha, her daughter, dispose of? And it's the question of the bodies of the guests that they murder.
In the river.
They do indeed. You had 7 passes altogether. It was Brasilac who was executed in spite of Camus' plea. Gratian was the 17th century Spanish philosopher. The Grand Duke assassinated was Sergei. In that autobiographical novel, it was Max who gave the butcher's son a black eye. In the short story The Guest, the name of that prison, the police headquarters, was Tangier. Camus dedicated the text of his acceptance speech to Germain, and the accordion was the instrument the blind musician played. Those 7 passes, Ashok Venkatesh, you have 8 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Eaton.
Your occupation?
Postman.
Your previous subjects have been British track and field athletics and Andrew Jackson. Your subject tonight?
The television comedies Porridge and Going Straight. I work in the West London Mail Centre here in Paddington. This is the registered letter enclosure where we handle all guaranteed letters. You have to think harder when you're picking a subject for Mastermind. You don't want something that's too big, you don't want something that's too narrow. Everyone likes a good comedy, and I've noticed over the years the comedies have been a popular choice. Porridge will probably go down as one of the 2 or 3 best television comedies this country's ever produced.
Is it a dirty boot? Yeah, filthy. I dropped it in a puddle coming back from lunch.
Yeah, my dad encouraged me to have a go on the programme. He thought I was good enough. He's helped me revising. I think he's enjoyed the experience as well.
If you had a mind to have it in there.
So, Dad, here we are at the world-famous Ealing Studios. Of course, you've got the logo up there, Ealing
all
Studios.
the films
That's right. Programme makers, they wanted to film some of the scenes in a real prison, but the Home Office weren't having any of it. They didn't like the idea of a comedy being made inside prison walls. So they went to Tim Gleeson, well-known set designer. He went to Ealing Studios and he found a tank underneath one of the sound stages, and he was able to make a realistic prison block in a matter of just weeks.
Right, in which sport has each of the following men and women become famous? Michael Chang.
Tennis. All my workmates, they know I'm in the final. They've been very supportive.
Will Greenwood.
Rugby Union. On the quiet, they'd like to see a post from Win Mastermind. So would I.
And now 2 minutes on Porridge and Going Straight. Which series of Ronnie Barker pilot shows first introduced the character of Fletcher in an episode called Prisoner and Escort?
7 of 1.
Yes, according to Mr. Barraclough in Disturbing the Peace, what was Nosher Garrett wearing when he was recaptured, which suggested that someone had tampered with the billiard table?
Green Bay suit.
Correct. What's the title of the episode in the first series of Porridge in which Godber becomes Fletcher's cellmate, though he thinks the arrangement's only temporary?
Night In.
Yes, the entrance of which town's former prison was used in the opening credits of Porridge?
St Albans.
Yes, where does Fletcher claim that his daughter Ingrid was conceived owing to him being politically minded and very randy?
Highgate Cemetery.
Yes, in Going to Work episode of Going Straight, Godber compares the sight of a drunken Fletcher staggering to work with the closing scene of which 54 film?
Spellbound.
On the waterfront, in Final Stretch, Reggie Jarvis is said to have broken the prison television because he couldn't get a decent picture to watch which programme?
Magic Roundabout.
Yes, in the episode of Storm and a Teacup, how do Fletcher and Godber dispose of the stolen tablets meant for the medical officer's dog?
They eat them.
They do. In Going Straight, what does Fletcher jokingly call his parole licence at his first meeting with his probation officer?
Dog licence.
Yes, in Disturbing the Peace, the inmate Williams, played by Philip Maddock, compares his large sexual appetite to that of which animal?
Frog.
Yes, what's the real first name of Dylan, the hippie prisoner who tie-dyes his uniform and whom Fletcher accuses of being lazy?
Mervyn.
No, Melvin. What handmade gift does Godber give to Fletcher as a present in the Christmas special No Way Out?
Mittens.
Yes, which actor who was later nominated for an Oscar appears in the 5th episode of Going Straight as Crowther of the Flying Squad?
Pete Postlethwaite.
Yes, according to Ives in the episode The Hustler, which betting race was stopped when Mr. Mackay put his foot down?
The Earwig Derby.
Yes, Fletcher and Blanco Webb tricked Nasty Norris into digging up which football club's pitch in search of non-existent stolen loot?
Loftus Road Ground.
Leeds United. Which inmate has always wanted to be a writer, though his brutal style dismays his English tutor, Mr. Barraclough?
Spraggan.
Yes. In Ways and Means, Fletcher volunteers to bring McLaren down from his rooftop protest and tells the governor that he's no stranger to danger as he'd done his national service in which country?
Malaysia.
Yes, in the final episode of Going Straight, where do Ingrid and Godber tell Fletcher they'll be spending their honeymoon?
Lanzarote.
Yes, what's the nickname of the wimpy convict who acts as a runner for genial Harry Grout in the Series 2 episode The Harder They Fall?
Jackdaw.
Yes. Ray Eaton, no passes. You have 16 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Mark Eaves.
Your occupation?
Estate manager.
Your previous subjects have been London Zoo and St. Mark. Tonight's subject is?
The Ottoman Empire, 1878 to 1924. I've always been a fan of Mastermind. Always enjoyed watching it from an early age. Like to try and answer the questions before the people on TV do. It was my son William who, after one of these bouts of shouting the answers at the television, said, "You really ought to do that, Dad." Lo and behold, I filled in the form, sent it off, and the rest, as they say, is history. My interest in the Ottoman Empire did come about in my school days, because it was a recurring theme in British foreign policy. The Foreign Office exhibited the British Empire at the height of its grandeur and importance, and at the same time you had this declining empire, this Ottoman Empire, and so the up-and-coming or all-powerful empire had to play a role in sorting out the problems that related to the declining empire. Yeah, 15-inch British. I think William is baffled that I've chosen the decline of the Ottoman Empire between 1878 and 1924. Nevertheless, he does enjoy playing with soldiers, and an opportunity to visit the Imperial War Museum is greatly enjoyed by him. The final nail in the coffin for the Ottoman Empire came about with the First World War, which really made it a complete foregone conclusion that the Ottoman Empire would not survive.
That's a place called Gallipoli.
Is that bell-shaped cannon?
That's a mortar that throws bombs up high.
William is looking forward to the final with a certain amount of trepidation, but perhaps more confidence than his father has.
Mark Eaves, 2 minutes on the Ottoman Empire. In June 1878, a Congress of European powers met in which city to shape the future of the territories ruled by the Ottomans?
Berlin.
Corrected. Which river close to Ankara were the Greek army defeated and an invasion of Anatolia turned back by President Mustafa Kemal in August 1921?
Sakarya.
Yes, what was the name of the Ottoman Minister of the Interior who was largely responsible for organising the deportation of the Armenians from eastern Anatolia?
Jamal.
Talat. What is the original name of the German warship that, along with the Girtin, took refuge in Istanbul and was incorporated into the Ottoman fleet in 1914?
Breslau.
Correct. Which military leader was shot dead during the coup d'etat led by Enver Pasha in 1913?
Nizam.
Yes. What name was given to the railroad project that began in 1888, which aimed to connect Istanbul with the Persian Gulf region?
The Baghdad-Konya Railway.
Yes. Which semi-autonomous Balkan region was restored to Ottoman control at the Congress of Berlin but was reunited with Bulgaria in 1885?
Eastern Rumelia.
Yes. What was the ancient title held by the Ottoman Sultan since 1517, which Kemal abolished in 1924?
Caliph.
Yes. Jamal and his governor ordered the expulsion of the Jewish population from which city in 1917?
Jerusalem.
Jaffa. Who was Prince Sabaheddin's principal rival in Paris for the leadership of the exiled opposition to Abdul Hamid II?
Enver.
Riza. What is the name of the secret society founded in Damascus, which Kemal joined around 1905?
Vatan.
Yes. During the First Balkan War, the Bulgarian advance on Istanbul finally halted at which fortified position?
The Chatalja Lines.
Yes. Of which ancient office was Ahmed Tevfik Pasha the last holder between 1920 and 1922?
Grand Vizier.
Yes. In which battle in the Caucasus did Enver suffer losses estimated at 85 to 90% of his army in the winter of 1914 to 15?
Sakramish.
Yes. The future of which city and province was the one major problem left unresolved by the Treaty of Lausanne?
Smyrna.
Mosul. Which general's assassination in Monastir in Macedonia was one of the key events at the beginning of the 1908 revolution?
Shevket.
Shamsi. Which body was created in 1881 by the Muharrem Decree? I'll finish the question. Which placed control of taxation in the hands of creditors from other European powers?
The Ottoman Public Debt Commission.
Public Debt Administration, yes. No passes. Mark Eaves, you have 12 points. So that's the end of the specialist subject round in our grand final. Let's have a look at the scores. In 6th place with 8 points is Ashoke Venkatesh. 5th place with 12 points, Mark Eaves. 4th place with 14 points, Katherine Drury. Joint 2nd place, close contest this, with 15 points, are David Stedman and Geoff Thomas. In the lead, just with 16 points, Ray Eaton. So, our 6 contenders now have the Mastermind title in their sights. But before we find out who will be the ultimate winner, here's a reminder of how they got to the final and what being a finalist actually entails.
The road to the final affects our contenders in different ways.
Winning the semi-final would have been enough, but winning it by such a margin was just the icing on the cake.
You have the highest score in all the semi-finals so far, 34 points.
I was on such a high for a long time over that.
It didn't seem like cutthroat competition. There was quite a friendly spirit between all the contestants, the sense that we're all in it together.
I think the important thing is when you sit down in the chair, forget about the lights, forget about the people, forget how many millions of people are going to watch the programme. Just focus on the question master, John Humphreys.
When I won the semi-final of Mastermind, I think one was one of relief, because nobody ever remembers semi-finalists, but to get to the final, I think, is a far more prestigious occasion.
If anybody deserves to win it, it's you. I truly hope you'll win it.
For Mastermind's technical crew, the day of the final starts early. All sorts of last-minute checks are needed. John Humphreys spends his morning making sure he's happy with all the questions.
Rinzai, Soto and...
It's Rinzai, Soto and Obaku.
Obaku.
And that he's familiar with all the finalist specialist subjects.
Turner, who's the same time as Turner. And
Was he exactly the same time?
It's exactly the same time as Turner, yeah.
Dan, just doing a rehearsal, top of the show.
2 hours before the final is recorded, the programme's director rehearses in the gallery.
Thank you, Ted.
In the spotlight tonight,
And go.
Ashoke Venites from Derby.
The finalists arrive in various states of panic with their families.
I think he's going to do well.
There's just time for comparing notes and some last-minute revision
He received the Order of the Garter on his 17th birthday.
before they're briefed about the day ahead.
So it's going to be David Stedman first.
The ladies in makeup always prove to be a reassuring presence.
I never get any of the questions right myself.
That's nice to have a go, isn't it?
Mastermind is always recorded in front of a studio audience. And those lucky enough to have tickets now take their seats for the final.
This is great.
John Humphreys has some reassuring words for the 6 finalists.
You've been at it for...
I know, longer than
whatever.
yes.
Ever. Certainly longer than me.
While warm-up man Ted Robbins keeps the audience entertained.
Where are you from, Amy?
From Lancashire.
Sorry?
Lancashire.
No, I heard I'm just sorry.
Our 6 contenders wait nervously in the wings before taking their places for the final. Eventually,
The finalists didn't quite manage to
Welcome to the Mastermind Grand Final.
John Humphreys introduces the programme, and the search for the Mastermind Champion 2006 begins in earnest.
Chair tonight. So, no mean feat getting this far in Mastermind. We've had the specialist subjects, now general knowledge. And if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes get taken into account, and the contender with the fewest passes will be the winner. If there is still a tie on points, then we have a playoff, a 5-question playoff. So, let's get on with the general knowledge round, and let me ask Ashoke Venkatesh to join us again, please. And Albert Camus this time around, a very interesting character who won the Nobel Prize. Wasn't he the second youngest winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature?
Because I think Kipling beat him by 1 year.
Oh, really? Now, he was regarded, although he was a deeply philosophical writer and his books were not exactly easy reads, he didn't regard himself as an existentialist or whatever. He thought of himself as a sort of absurdist.
Yes, I think particularly in his early work, his idea was simply to show how absurd the human condition is. And he argued that there wasn't any particular meaning in life and the things that happen in life. It just happens. And then he went on to try and put together some sort of philosophy of life from there.
And in a nutshell, what was it made him a great writer? What earned him the Nobel?
Well, I think it was a combination of a very clear, straightforward writing style with some very difficult and interesting philosophical ideas.
But you possibly wouldn't describe it as airport reading, would you?
Not really, though it's not, neither is it very complicated and dry.
Oh. Right, well, you have 8 points in this grand final. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. What are the Hunter and Barossa valleys in Australia particularly well known for producing?
Wine.
Yes, which chain store and mail order company was sold by the Moores family to the Barclay twins for £750 million in October 2002?
Pass.
Which London theatre burned down in 1613 when its thatch caught fire after the discharge of a cannon during a performance of Shakespeare's Henry VIII?
The Globe.
Yes, for his portrayal of which singer, songwriter and pianist did Jamie Foxx win a BAFTA award in 2005?
Pass.
In which country is the popular resort area of Lake Louise?
Australia.
Canada. Which element, making up about 1% of the atmosphere, was discovered in 1894 by Lord Rayleigh and Sir William Ramsay?
Argon.
Yes, what nickname was given to the English King William II because of his ruddy complexion?
Rufus.
Yes, which Cheshire-born cartoonist created the Fosdyke saga?
Pass.
In which cathedral city does a medieval gateway called the Bishop's Eye straddle the approach to the moat-ringed Bishop's Palace?
Pass.
Which philanthropic peer's Coal Mines Act of 1842 prohibited the employment underground of children under the age of 10 and women?
Shaftesbury.
Yes. Which Portuguese-Canadian singer who had a UK top 10 hit with her song I'm Like a Bird released a third album, Loose, in June 2006?
Katie Melua.
Nelly Furtado. What name is given to the genus of rod-shaped bacteria widely found in soil and water?
Bacilli.
Yes. Which Nobel Prize-winning poet's 12th collection of verse, published in 2006, is entitled District and Circle?
Pass.
Which capital city, founded in 1822 as a settlement for freed American slaves, is named after the American president of the time?
Monrovia.
Yes. What term is used for an agreement between the Pope and a secular government?
Concordat.
Yes, whose only opera, Dido and Aeneas, was first performed at Josiah Priest's School for Gentlewomen in Chelsea in about 1689?
Purcell.
Yes, in which triathlon competition do competitors first swim 2.4 miles, then cycle 112 miles and finish with a full marathon?
Iron Man.
Yes, which impressionist plays the character Detective Inspector Gil Mayo in the television series Mayo?
Pass.
What is the family name of the Dukes of Westminster?
Grosvenor.
Grosvenor it is. You had 6 passes altogether. Alistair McGowan plays Detective Inspector Gil Mayo. The Nobel Prize-winning poet was Seamus Heaney. Wells is the cathedral city with that medieval gateway called the Bishop's Eye. Bill Tidy was the cartoonist who created the Fosdyke Saga. Ray Charles was the singer portrayed by Jamie Foxx. And Littlewoods was sold by the Moores family. 6 passes, Ashoke Venkatesh, a total of 19 points. And now Mark Eaves, please. And you chose the Ottoman Empire, which is quite a subject. What was it? When did it last and what was it all about?
Well, if you think of the country that's now Turkey, it was the empire that attached to that Southeast Europe, North Africa and the Middle East.
Big empire and lasted not all that long.
Well, 600 years
That's
or so.
quite a long time,
That's
actually.
reasonably long, yes.
Yeah, 600 years is quite a long time. Why did it collapse after all that time?
It covered a number of nationalities, and there were the internal pressures from the nationalities who wanted independence, such as the Greeks, the Armenians, who never got it, and so on and so forth, and also had large predatory neighbours like the Russians, the Austro-Hungarians, the British and the French, all have wanted pieces of the action, and so it had internal pressures and external pressures which pulled it apart.
And in some ways, I suppose you could say a pity it did, in the sense that the bits that were left behind as a result of it have been pretty troubled ever since.
Yes, I think...
Not that I'm suggesting the Ottoman Empire should have lasted for another 600 years, you understand?
No, I think Armenians would have taken exception
Quite.
with you if you'd said that. But certainly the way that it was resolved at the end of the First World War left a number of unresolved issues. And it's perhaps difficult to see a worse way of trying to resolve the matters than we actually achieved.
Well, you scored 12 points with your knowledge of the Ottoman Empire. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. What term is used for a plant that requires 2 seasons to complete the cycle from seed to seed?
Pass.
Which American golfer won the Masters at Augusta for the 2nd time in 3 years in 2006?
Tiger Woods.
Phil Mickelson. In music, which major key has no sharps or flats?
C.
Yes. Which former sports minister who died aged 62 in January 2006 took the title Lord Stratford when he became a life peer?
Dennis Howe.
Tony Banks. Which 19th century English biologist coined the term agnostic to describe his religious outlook?
T.H. Huxley.
Yes. The name of which style of painting, which flourished in France at the beginning of the 20th century, comes from the French for wild beasts?
Fauvism.
Yes. Which group of islands a few miles off the coast of Northumberland is an important nature reserve for breeding grey seals and seabirds?
Farne Islands.
Yes. Which gas was known to early chemists as fixed air?
Hydrogen.
Carbon dioxide. Who won the Golden Globe and the Best Supporting Actor Oscar in 2002 for his performance as Iris Murdoch's husband in the film Iris?
Jim Broadbent.
Yes. Which Argentine military leader designed the country's national flag in 1812, possibly basing it on the blue and white cockades worn by soldiers of the Liberation Army?
Simon Bolivar.
No. Belgrano. Which poem by Shelley opens, "Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never were"?
To a nightingale.
To a skylark. What is the capital of the Canadian province of Prince Edward Island, which was named in honour of the wife of King George III?
Pass.
Which adjective meaning disdainfully superior in manner is derived from the Latin for above the eyelid?
Pass.
Which television comedy series featured the sketch Going for an English?
Pass.
In Orthodox Judaism, what name from the Hebrew for teaching is given to the collection of writings which form the basis of Jewish law and customs?
Talmud.
Yes. Which Scottish king was the father of Mary, Queen of Scots?
James IV.
James V. The scoring system for which game is partly based on the number of times a letter appeared on a single front page of the New York Times?
Scrabble.
Yes. What name's given to the small bones of the fingers and toes?
Metatarsals.
Phalanges. In which country did the former World Footballer of the Year, George Weah, stand for president in 2005?
Liberia.
Yes. Which singer-songwriter released his album 12 Songs, produced by Rick Rubin, in November 2005?
Bruce Springsteen.
No, it was Neil Diamond. You had 4 passes. Going for an English comes from goodness gracious me. Supercilious means disdainfully superior in manner. Charlatans, the capital of Prince Edward Island. And biennial is the term for a plant that goes from seed to seed in 2 seasons. 4 passes, Mark Eaves, 20 points. And now, Katherine Drury, please. And you've chosen one of our kings, a slightly odd figure in a way, dreadful childhood. Queen Victoria's son, Edward VII.
Yes, he had an appalling childhood.
Because of his mother?
No, I think mainly because of his father and his father's advisor, Baron Stockmar. They devised an education plan that was totally unsuited for him. He'd start work at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish 6 or 7 at night.
At what age?
8, something like that. 6 days a week at least. Leisure was spent drilling to a drill sergeant, or gardening, bricklaying.
Not playing with other kids? Or...
No.
But I mentioned Queen Victoria because she didn't really like him, did she? She
No,
thought
she
he was a
didn't.
waster.
She didn't like him at all.
Because she said that the thought of him as a king was, what was it, too awful to contemplate.
Yes. She also blamed him for the death of Prince Albert.
Ah, how? Why?
Well, he was at Cambridge at the time, and his first affair with Nellie Clifton, the actress, had come to light. When they heard, Prince Albert went straight up to Cambridge in the rain to see him. Now, Prince Albert was probably already incubating at that time the typhoid fever that killed him. He came back from Cambridge, soaked and cold and everything, took to his bed and never left it.
And Victoria, who loved him hugely, blamed the son for that?
Yes, she said she'd never be able to see him again without a shudder.
And he became a very popular monarch?
Yes.
You scored 14 points with your knowledge of him, which puts you in the running to be Mastermind champion. Let's see how you do with the big test, general knowledge. Here we go. Which herb, one of the most frequently used in European cookery, comes in 2 main varieties, curly and flat leaf?
Endive.
Parsley. The northern part of the main island of the Outer Hebrides is known as Lewis. What is the southern part known as?
Stafford.
Harris. Who in 1999 was appointed England's cricket captain in succession to Alex Stewart?
Nasir Hussain.
Yes. Which of Joan of Arc's comrades in arms was hanged in 1440 for sorcery and ritual murder and is thought to have been the inspiration for Charles Perrault's story Bluebeard?
Gilles de Rais.
Yes. Which insulin-secreting collection of cells in the pancreas are named after the German physician who first described them in 1869?
The islets of Langerhans.
Yes. In Japan, Rinzai, Soto and Obaku are the 3 main sects of which form of Buddhism?
Shinto.
No, Zen. Which common name for North America's largest swan, Cygnus buccinata, comes from its low-pitched call resembling a brass instrument?
Whooper swan.
Trumpeter swan. Pristina is the capital of which region in the Balkans?
Armenia.
Kosovo. Which word derived from the Hindi for foreign was used in British Army slang to mean Britain, especially England?
Blighty.
Yes. Who in her poem of 1957 wrote, "I was much too far out all my life and not waving but drowning"?
Stevie Smith.
Yes. From which metal was the penny minted when it was first struck in the reign of King Offa of Mercia in the 8th century?
Copper.
Silver. Which actor made his directorial debut in 2004 with Ladies in Lavender, starring Dame Judi Dench and Dame Maggie Smith?
Jim Broadbent.
Charles Dance. What's the name of the art movement and its associated magazine formed in Amsterdam in 1917, whose members include Piet Mondrian and Theo van Doesburg?
Pass.
Burnet, Dog and Downy are 3 varieties of which plant found growing in the wild in Britain?
Dock.
Rose. In which year was Colorado admitted to the Union, thereby gaining its nickname the Centennial State?
1900.
1876. The names Greymalking Paddock and Harpier are heard in which Shakespeare play?
Pass.
Which museum, the oldest public museum in Britain, is named after the antiquarian who donated it to the University of Oxford in 1677?
The Ashmolean.
The Ashmolean it is. You had 2 passes. Macbeth is the Shakespeare play, Greymalkin, Paddock and all that lot. And De Stijl is the name of the art movement I was looking for in 1917 in Amsterdam. 2 passes, Katherine Drury, 20 points. And now David Stedman, please. Now, Thomas Girtin, a marvellous artist, and many people will say Thomas who, but really he was the Turner. Well, he and Turner were painting together, and he could have been Turner, as it were.
Well, of course, the problem is Girtin died when he was 27, whereas Turner had his whole life to develop his talent, so...
Hence that question that I asked you.
Yeah.
When he said, what was it he said? If Tom Girtin had lived?
Yeah, I should have starved, which is an exaggeration, but that's what triggered my interest in Girtin, for a Turner to say something like that. And he's not particularly a modest man, you know, that sort of indicated a great talent to me, so... yeah.
So what was his talent? I mean, what made him such a great painter?
Well, he basically revolutionised watercolour painting. He threw off the shackles of the topographical style of watercolour painting, a very detailed sort of manner of painting, and was moving, especially towards the end of his life, into an almost impressionist sort of mode.
Which, of course, Turner then developed and became, if you like, the father of Impressionism.
That's right, yeah.
But as far as you're concerned, he is one of the great British artists.
I think so, yeah.
Well, he did you proud. You have 15 points, which is still in the running, very much in the running. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Here we go. Which musical features the songs Maria, I Feel Pretty and America?
West Side Story.
Yes, the name of which Israeli political party means forward in Hebrew?
Likud.
Kadima. Which scientist appeared on the last £1 note to be issued in England and Wales?
Newton.
Yes, nicknamed Black Dick owing to his complexion, which admiral defeated the French on the glorious 1st of June in 1794?
Duncan.
How? In music, what name is given to a virtuoso solo passage inserted into a movement of a concerto or other work, typically near the end?
Cadenza.
Yes, which city on the river Scheldt in Flemish-speaking Belgium is one of Europe's largest ports?
Rotterdam.
Antwerp. The word for which financial arrangement comes from the Old French for dead and pledge?
Pass.
Who was the Superior General of the Roman Catholic Order of the Missionaries of Charity from 1950 until March 1997?
St. Teresa.
Yes, Mother Teresa.
Mother
At
Teresa.
the 1996 Games, which country became the first from Africa to win an Olympic gold medal for football?
Liberia.
Nigeria. What's the common name for the widely eaten fish Gadus morua, which has been declared an endangered species by the Worldwide Fund for Nature?
Tuna.
Cod. Which king of the Catuvellauni led the native resistance to the Roman invasion of Britain against Aulus Plautius in AD 43?
Caractacus.
Yes. South Crofty, which closed in 1998, was the last mine in Britain producing which metal?
Tin.
Yes. In medicine, what term is used to describe the period between exposure to an infectious disease and the appearance of symptoms?
The... Pass.
Keeley Hawes and Matthew McFadden were two of the original cast of which drama series about MI5?
Spooks.
Yes. What name is given to the stretch of water lying east of the Solent between the northeastern coast of the Isle of Wight and the mainland around Portsmouth?
The... Pass.
Whose novel Naked Lunch was based on his experiences as a drug addict?
William Burroughs.
Yes. Which liner retired by, started to finished, retired by P&O in 1997, spent her early years ferrying Britons on £10 assisted passages to Australia?
Canberra.
Canberra is right. You had 3 passes. Spithead is that stretch of water lying east of the Solent. The incubation period for diseases, of course it is. And that word for the financial arrangement for the Old French for dead and pledge, a mortgage.
Oh.
3 passes, David Stedman, 24 points. And now, Geoff Thomas, please. Margaret Mitchell, Gone with the Wind. An extraordinary story about how she came to write that book.
It is. She took 10 years over it. She didn't want it published, and yet it became a phenomenal bestseller.
Ah, but you say she didn't want it published?
She did not want it published. She was a very private person, rather shy, and she put each chapter into an old manila envelope and stuffed each envelope somewhere in the house under cushions. And a copy editor came down from Macmillan's Publishers in New York. He'd heard that there was this woman known then as Peggy Mitchell who'd written this great novel about the Civil War. And he said, Miss Mitchell, I'd like to see your novel. And she said, there is no novel. But he persisted, and she wasn't going to show it him or give it him. And one of her friends said, you know, Peggy, you're not the sort of person to write a decent novel at all. You haven't got it in you. And she was so incensed that she ran. This man was literally going to the station to get the train back. And she ran after him with all these envelopes, and he had to buy a suitcase to get them all, to take them onto the train. He read them on the train, and he was hooked. And he strongly recommended to the publishers that they buy this book, which they did. And, of course, it became, they say, the second best seller to the Bible in publishing history.
And a massively successful film.
And a phenomenal film that took many years in the... well, 3.5 years in the making. And it stands up very well today. I think, I have to say, sounding like a grumpy old man, this is how films used to be when the producers and the makers cared about producing a grand film.
You are a grumpy old man, of course.
Yes,
but
this is true.
Why not? You don't
know.
give a damn, as it were. Right. The score to beat, if you are to become Mastermind champion, is 24. You have 15 at the moment. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Burke and Hare provided specimens for a medical school in which city?
Edinburgh.
Yes. Codling is an elongated variety of which fruit?
Apple.
Yes. Which American harmonica player was largely responsible for raising the instrument to classical concert status?
Larry Adler.
Yes. Brian Boru was High King of which country from around 1002 to 1014?
Ireland.
Yes. In business, what name is usually given to a person or firm that makes a welcome takeover bid for a company as an alternative to an unwelcome or hostile bid?
White Knight.
Yes. Which playwright's works include The Wild Duck and The Master Builder?
Ibsen.
Yes. Which actor played the good in the film The Good, the Bad and the Ugly?
Clint Eastwood.
Yes. The common name of which tree closely related to the birch comes from the Old English for hard wood?
Alder.
Hornbeam. Which England wicketkeeper was born in Papua New Guinea of Welsh parents and played his early cricket in Australia?
Geraint Jones.
Yes. In the Bible, what's the name of the sister of Lazarus and Mary who lived with them in Bethany?
Martha.
Yes. Which Wagner opera is based on the legend of a minstrel who, after spending time carousing at the court of Venus, goes to Rome to seek absolution for his sins?
Tannhäuser.
Yes. Who used the codename former naval person in correspondence with Franklin D. Roosevelt during World War II?
Churchill.
Yes. Which artist, one of the foremost exponents of abstract art, was born in Barcelona on the 20th of April, 1893?
Dali.
Miro. What is the meaning of the Latin phrase tempus fugit?
Time flies.
Yes. The River Po runs for more than 400 miles before it enters which sea?
Adriatic.
Yes. Who has presented Radio 4's Loose Ends and the quiz show Counterpoint since they both began?
Ned Sherrin.
Yes. What's secreted by the sudoriferous glands?
Sweat.
Yes. Who in February 1981 announced that his News International organisation had purchased Times newspapers from the Thomson Group?
Murdoch.
Yes. Which Vickers aircraft was used by BEA to launch the world's first sustained passenger service operated by turboprop airliners in 1953?
Viscount.
Yes. For which film did Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray win Best Actress and Best Actor awards at the 2004 BAFTA ceremony?
Lost in Translation.
Correct. Which animals are particularly affected by the contagious disease glanders?
Horses.
Yes. Who wrote the autobiographical poem Childe Harold's Pilgrimage?
Byron.
Yes. In the French Revolution, what name after the department, as I'll finish the question, their leaders came from was given to the moderate Republicans who were prominent in the Legislative Assembly during 1791?
Girondin.
Girondin is correct. No passes. Geoff Thomas, an extraordinary 36 points. And now, Ray Eaton. Wow. Yeah, well, follow that, really.
He's good. He's good, actually. I noticed that as well, yeah.
Let's talk about Porridge and going straight and prisons. A sitcom in a prison sounded like a crazy idea at the time.
It was. I think at the time a lot of people thought it was a big risk.
Because the action in a cell, I mean, there's nothing outside there. It's all concentrated in one very, very tiny space.
Yes.
And two people, mostly.
Yeah. Some people thought, happened to think that having a confined space makes good comedy anyway. But thanks to the writing and the acting, it worked. It worked brilliantly.
So for you, one of the greats, obviously.
Absolutely, yes.
And you scored a lot of points with it. You have a pretty hefty score to beat, it must be said. But don't let that intimidate you. 36 points is what you've got to beat. You have 16.
Okay.
2 minutes on general knowledge. Which planet has a prominent oval-shaped area in its clouds called the Great Red Spot?
Neptune.
Jupiter. The adjective Earth sign refers to which creature?
Bears.
Yes. Who succeeded João Havelange as the president of FIFA in June 1998?
Sepp Blatter.
Yes. Which chapel situated near Edinburgh and featured the novel The Da Vinci Code was founded in the 15th century by Sir William St. Clair?
Pass.
Who was the supreme commander of the Yugoslav partisans from 1941 to 45?
Titoff.
No, Marshall Tito. Which pioneers of electronic pop music took their name from the German for power station?
Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk, yes. Who in his poem Leisure wrote the lines, "What is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare."
W.H. Davis.
Yes. Which American state is bordered to its north by Alabama and Georgia?
Tennessee.
Florida. The word Punic, as in the Punic Wars, is derived from earlier Greek and Latin words for which people who, by tradition, founded Carthage in 814 BC?
Mycenaeans.
Phoenicians. Which Conservative Secretary of State for Education gave his name to periodic in-service training days for teachers?
Kenneth Baker.
Yes. Who won the 2003 Best Supporting Actress Oscar for the role of Ruby Thews in the film Cold Mountain?
Emma Watson.
Ren Zellweger. Which internet search engine was co-founded in 1994 by the Taipei-born American Jerry Yang?
Yahoo.
Yes. Who in Greek mythology was the muse of epic poetry?
Calliope.
Yes. Which Derbyshire town is known for the Twisted Tower on its parish church of St Mary and All Saints?
Bakewell.
Chesterfield. Which small keyboard instrument, which makes an ethereal bell-like sound, was invented in Paris and used a few years later by Tchaikovsky in the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy?
Harmonium.
Celeste. Using apparatus invented in 1936 by George Nissen, which sport involves moves called backdrop, crash, dive and turntable?
Real tennis.
Trampolining. Which of the major branches of Islam regards the first three caliphs as Muhammad's true successor?
Shiite.
Sunni. Which cartoon family first appeared in 1987 in The Tracy Ullman Show?
Simpsons.
Yes, in 1992, the Woldsey Humberside became the first establishment of what sort in Europe to be run by the private sector?
Pass.
Which large molecules are made up of smaller molecules of repeated units called monomers?
Pass.
Which car firm that ceased production in 1960 made the Sapphire series of luxury saloons?
BMC.
Armstrong Siddeley. You had three passes. It's polymers that are made up of smaller molecules of repeated units and so on. Prison is the first establishment run by private sector, and Roslin Chapel is the one near Edinburgh that's in the Da Vinci Code. Three passes. Ray Eaton are highly credible in any other circumstances. 24 points.
Thank you.
Well, that's the end of the contest, so let's have a look at the scores. In sixth place with 19 points, Ashoke Venkatesh. In joint fourth place with 20 points are Katherine Drury and Mark Eaves. In joint second place with 24 points, David Stedman and Ray Eaton. Way out in front with an extraordinary score. The winner of Mastermind 2006 with 36 points, Geoff Thomas. To present the most famous glass bowl in the business, a man whose name is synonymous with Mastermind and always will be, Magnus Magnusson. Magnus, welcome, welcome. You've held that once or twice before.
Oh, yes, lovely. I say it is
How does it feel to be here back on the set?
I think it's a tremendous honour, you know, to be asked back to my programme.
Your programme, absolutely. I agree.
I'm trying my darndest not to sound too proprietorial. But
you're entitled.
It's been a wonderful contest, hasn't it?
Hasn't it?
Terrific fight. And by jinkies, I was in tenterhooks all the time. I didn't know who was going to win, but what a winner. What a winner.
36 points, not bad. Let's invite him over, the man himself, Geoff.
Just before you get this, I remind you that once upon a time, you said to me, I have two ambitions in life. One is to win Mastermind, and the other is to live to be 100. Well, good luck with the second. You're nearly there.
Yes? Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Well done to Geoff. Thank you all for watching. Do join us again for the 2007 Mastermind Championships. Join us again, please. Until then, goodbye.